Between Immaculate and The First Omen, this is a really good year for pregnant nuns, which is a sentence I didn't think I'd ever be saying. My name is Mike Vaughn. Welcome to a new Pop Reviews. I'm going to be talking about Immaculate, which is a movie that I kind of wanted to review a little bit earlier, but my schedule got a little derailed. But it's better late than never, so let's get into this. Immaculate is between a rock and a hard place in its uneven writing. And if you've seen the movie, you will totally get that joke. But I'm not going to explain it because that's a spoiler. So, the biggest thing is this movie feels like it's struggling to find its footing narrative wise. It's a movie that tries very hard to connect the plot threads together, but most elements are underdeveloped to the point of confusion. In fact, discussing it afterwards with a friend made me realize how most things really didn't make a whole lot of sense. The film picks up and drops plot lines at will, leaving you feeling bewildered. The film also commits one of the biggest sins, which is zero setup for its twist ending. It feels like the filmmakers just pulled this last minute Hail Mary out of its ass. And this is a shame because I think the twist was interesting and it was a really cool subversion on what I thought was going to take place. And again, I'm keeping this spoiler free, but I might come back and do a full spoiler review. This movie also feels like it's struggling with what it wants to be and what it wants to convey. On one hand, you have a very standard Rosemary's Baby style thriller, yet with an elevated A24 like style, complete with lofty commentary, this time talking about a woman's bodily autonomy. And I think this is really where the film hits its stride. It makes you feel very uncomfortable for our lead character right away. She's constantly being looked at and leered at and creeped on, and it's just no good. But it just doesn't mesh together very well with some of the other more maybe let's say cliche aspects of the film. This makes me think that there was some studio meddling or at the very least rewrites that led to how disjointed this entire film feels. Some of the more mundane stuff is really eye-rolling horror cliches. The dialogue can be a little wooden. You get a lot of boom jump scares. And again, it just sort of bucks up against what I think the film was trying to convey. I will say, though, despite my issues with the somewhat underdeveloped plot, the ending is shocking and bold enough to almost gloss over the other issues. Almost. Unfortunately, it has too many bad habits to truly redeem itself, at least for me. But I don't want to totally shit all over this movie because there was aspects that I really, really liked. The movie's look is among its strongest points. Haunting and atmospheric, the vibes were a really nice mix of Ken Russell and early David Lynch. And I have to say, Sydney Sweeney's performance is excellent. Like, she is really the highlight of this movie. If the Oscars didn't hate horror movies so much, she would easily be at least nominated. Immaculate is a great looking horror film. There is no taking away from that. And again, there are certain elements that felt really interesting and had this kind of pulpy sort of style to it. There's a really nice subversion again that I can't talk about without spoiling it, but I really appreciate the big swing that it took at the end. And again, it's not quite enough to completely change my feeling about this movie. It does make it at least worth a tentative recommend. Yet, frankly put, its extremely underdeveloped narrative and some of the horror cliches it uses as a crutch left me feeling a little bit underwhelmed, which is such a shame because I think the core premise of the movie is really interesting. And sorry, but I don't care how interesting and daring the finale is, it needs a really solid foundation to prop it up. So I don't know if you're sick of this nonsense. Please weigh in the comments. Let me know what you think of this movie. Again, I didn't absolutely hate it. It just did not really connect with me fully. But I really want to hear from y'all and let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really appreciate all y'all that have been sticking around. I've been trying to up my game every aspect of the channel, and frankly, it's just me doing this. all the writing, researching, editing, graphics. I appreciate y'all, and I will see you in the next video.
Well, congratulations. You're the new mayor of Sodom and Gomorrah.